Saqqara was the burial place for the ancient Egyptian capital of Memphis, about 30 kilometers south of Cairo, and is now in ruins. The site features a small sphinx and several pyramids, the most famous of which is the Step Pyramid of Djoser, which represented a major advance in building techniques. The Step Pyramid of Saqqara is just one part of the vast necropolis at Memphis. The histories and stories behind this ancient city are fascinating and interesting to note and discover. Memphis and Saqqara are two of the most important archaeological sites in Egypt. Entrance to the funerary complex of the Step Pyramid is through a narrow corridor. To reach the interior of the package and first stop in the area is a rectangular space full of what were once columns that are still standing today, thanks to the restorations of the sites. As a guided tour, our tour guide Mido gave us explanation to the site, briefed us how the Step Pyramid was developed and built for King Djoser. Saqqara's name was derived from the name of the burial god Saqqara. It stretches some 6.2 kilometers over the western plateau as part of a series of necropolis along the river from Abu Ruwash in the north to Djoser in the south, all belonging to the ancient Memphis capital. Their significance lies in their continued use from the first dynasty to the Christian in Egypt. Saqqara is one of the richest archaeological sites in Egypt. Its monuments span 3,000 years, from the earliest ancient Egyptian funerary structures to Coptic monasteries. While Saqqara continued to be used as a burial site for officials for a time, it was eventually abandoned and apart from Djoser's pyramid, lay buried under the sand for centuries. Saqqara pyramid is a bit strange because it doesn't look like a pyramid but rather a staircase. That's what the Egyptians wanted it to look like because they thought that the soul of the pharaoh Djoser could ascend to the sky to meet the dead gods and pharaohs.
This one here is showing us how they are building the pyramid. It is the first pyramid made out of stone. So the engineer and the workers, they don't know how to deal with a huge piece of stone. You remember yesterday in the Great Pyramid, one piece of stone, it was almost the same size of a big bus. But here no, because it is the first pyramid, they use it, so they cut the stone in a very small pieces. That's why it takes them a long time to build this pyramid. This one is only 66 meter high. The one we see it yesterday was 147 meter high. So this one is a small tiny one comparing with the one we see it yesterday. The one we see it yesterday, they make it in 20 years. This one here, they take over than 29 to 30 years to build it. Why it take a long time? It is the first time one they use, and they are cut the stones in a very small pieces. So it take a time to cut the stones, and it take a time to build it. And it is 6 steps above each others. And here we have small shafts, which is these dots here, where all the way down they have they bury the king underneath. And 6 steps all the way up. And this one here, what we call the Step Pyramid of Saqqara. Saqqara is the name of the district. And the one who built it and the engineer who made it, as we say before, Imhotep. Imhotep. He is the engineer who made it.
The Pyramid of Djoser is a 6-tier, 4-sided structure in the earliest colossal stone building in Egypt. It was built in the 27th century BC during the 3rd dynasty for the burial of Pharaoh Djoser. The pyramid is the central feature of a vast mortuary complex in an enormous courtyard surrounded by ceremonial structures and decorations. The pyramid went through several revisions and redevelopments of the original plan. In March 2020, the pyramid was reopened for visitors after a 14-year restoration. Imhotep was an Egyptian chancellor to the pharaoh Djoser, the architect of Djoser's step pyramid, and high priest to the sun god Ra and Heliopolis. Very little is known of Imhotep as a historical figure, but in 3,000 years following his death, he was gradually glorified and deified. The pyramid is the oldest extant monument of hewn stone known to the world.
Hi, bro! We're against the light, no? Against the light? It's not the TV.
Eh, okay na, sagot na lang. Sumindire mo ito nga. Okay. Balik.
We're going back?
Yes, we are going back.
Okay, okay.
Yalla, yalla.
Djoser's burial chambers were built deep into the pyramid, as were his 11 daughters' chamber. These chambers are part of a maze-like tunnels that wind throughout the pyramid. It is believed that these tunnels were designed to discourage tomb thieves and protect the king's body. Granite was used to make Djoser's burial chambers. To get through these chambers, one had to go through corridors lined with thousands of vessels. These stone vessels were described with previous kings' names, mostly from the 1st and 2nd dynasty. Even with a series of tunnels, robbers still managed to rob the grave, making way with precious valuables and even the king's mummy. Sadly, the state of the Steps pyramid has deteriorated, partly due to an earthquake in 1992 CE. This raised the fear that the tunnels could collapse, taking out its historical monument. Conservation efforts were put in place. For this reason, visitors are not allowed to enter the pyramid but can only view it from outside. A mastaba, meaning house of stability, house of eternity, or eternal house in ancient Egyptian, is a type of ancient Egyptian tomb in the form of a flat-roofed rectangular structure with inward sloping sides constructed out of mud bricks. These edifices mark the burial sites of many eminent Egyptians during Egypt's early dynastic period on Old Kingdom. In the Old Kingdom epoch, local kings began to be buried in pyramids instead of in mastabas, although non-royal use of mastabas continued for over 1,000 years. Egyptologists call these tombs mastaba from the Arabic word mastaba, which means stone bench. Standing in front of the step pyramid was a great experience for us, knowing that it was once the tallest building in the world and to be included in the UNESCO World Heritage Site, Memphis and Necropolis.